Okay, now, next part of our question, we're still on extract 1. And this is called transcription. Now, in this, usually, what they did last year is a little bit different to what we've been doing, but they are asking you to transcribe the chords below. So what we're talking about are these guitar chords, or we call them jazz rock notation. And what you have to do is you have to write these out. Now, there are, as you know, in level 1, we have 4 chords. Chord 1, chord 4, chord 5, and chord 6. And you're not going to get anything that's other than these chords. Now, we decided that because we have G, or 1 sharp, it's in G major. So G major is chord 1. Therefore, what is chord 4? Chord 4 is C. And chord 5 is D. And 6 is always a minor, so we use a lowercase minor. So that's an E minor. So if we have a look, we've got chord 4, chord G, which is 1, and chord D, which is chord 5, and E minor, it's chord 6, and D is chord 5 again. So, yes, so if you get the key right, but this doesn't matter if you don't know the key. This one just asks you to fill in, notate these chords. So they're asking you to do it in a particular way. They're saying that it could be played by a keyboardist or on the keyboard. Notate the root position, triads, on the treble staff. So we know treble staff is that one, right? So this is called a treble clef, and so therefore this is called a treble staff, or stave. And because that's got a bass clef in it, this is going to be called the bass staff. They're asking you to do a root position triad. Now remember, triad is a group of, it's a chord with 3 notes. Tri means 3, so, and a root position triad looks something like this. So if I just draw 5 lines here, so if I start it there, I'm going to have what we call a root with an R, a third above it. Again, we come back to intervals, don't we? That's a third from there to there. And a fifth above the root, which is that one. So we remember how we talked about snowman. That's a snowman. And this is what we call a root position. The root position must have all the note heads joined together, because that's a root, that's a third, and that's a fifth. So they want a root position triad on the treble staff and a single note or single root note on the bass staff. So, simply put, if we have C, the chord C, we want to have the root as the C. Okay, I'm just going to do it in a white note or hollow note like this. Now, what's the root note for G? Well, G. What's the root note for D? D. Now, you can choose to go up to that D, up to you, but I think I choose to go down to that D. And E, E minor, the root is E, and there, that's D. So this is where you need to know, you will have a knowledge of what these note names are. Remember, every good boy deserves fruit or football. Every good boy deserves football. Or face in space. F-A-C-E. The bass note, okay, so if we go to spaces, in the gaps, the 4 gaps, right? All cows eat grass. So that's all cows eat grass. And the other one is the lines are good, or green bus drives fast always. Okay, so that's how I would try to memorize. Now we want, okay, so well, shall we do the single root note and the bass staff then? Okay, well the root note is going to be the same as what we've got there. So here we need a C, so the bass is going to be C. You can do there, that C, or you can do that C. Notice how that C is what we call a middle C, and that's a middle C on the treble clef too. So there's a little bit of mirroring going on there. Okay, so we've got a C there, and we need a G in the root note, so that's a G there. That note's there. Now, if I don't want this to be too high, I could go, well, because I know that's all cow, that's a C. Okay, so I think I might just put my bass note. Doesn't matter about the gap, the spacing between those two notes. Okay, we're not really concerned about that. Okay, so we want G. So we go all cows. My pen. Okay. All cows eat grass. So I think I might put my G there. Don't overcomplicate things. Okay, now D. Okay, I think I'll go for my green bus drives fast. Okay, green bus drives. So that's D. So that's my D. Green bus drives. E. Well, what's one step up from D? That's E. Or I can go all cows eat grass. And the last one is a D, so that's back to the same note. I'm almost there. Now, remember the treble staff has to have a root position triad, something that looks like that. Okay, so I'm going to convert my C, groups of C. I'm going to do it with a different color. Do it with a blue. Convert this. Okay, that's a line. Therefore, I need another line. There's another line. The chord that has a line. That's a third going to a fifth. Root, third, fifth. Okay, now this one, that's another line note. That G is a little bit thick. Okay, I'm going to change that. It's another line note, so I'm going to put a B and a D. So I'm creating what we call a triad. Not just any triad, but a root position triad. Okay, so I've got my two root position triad. So that's a C triad, it's a G triad with a C root and a G root. Okay, I'm going to try this one. Oh, I forgot to put the F sharp there. So see that key signature? You must copy the key signature because this is what happens. That's an F there. So I'm going to make my snowman. So I already have my root. Remember, that's my root. My third, my fifth. That F, if I left it without a key signature, that would be F natural. D F natural to A would not be D major, it would be D minor. Okay? So that's why the key signature is important. And, yeah, okay, let's try this one. E minor. My third, my fifth, my third, my fifth. Now, if I left it like this, this would not be an excellence because there's a third part to this question. Use minims and crotchets. Now, what is a minim? Minim is what we call a half note. It means you count 1, 2. There are 2 beats to crotchet beats. These are crotchet beats, so that's twice as long. So that's a half note, what we say in America, half note. But we call this a minim. So we need to use minims and crotchets. Now remember, crotchets are these notes here. Crotchets. And that's 1 count, 2, 3, and so on. Now if we have a look at our note values here, we've got, remember if I use that, that's what we call a whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 count. But we need to convert these into, well, there are 2 of them, so we need to cut them into half. So we have to have a minim there, so I've used 1 minim. If that's 2 beats, 1, 2, I need to make this one 2 beats as well. I think the time signature, they should have given you a time signature there. Time signature is 4/4. By the way, remember, clef, key signature, time signature. Clef, key signature, time signature. So if I put a time signature, it should be 4/4. Okay. So there should be 4 crotchet beats per bar. Right. Oh, by the way, if that's an F sharp, you need to put an F sharp there too. Okay. So we want all. Okay. So let's go to our sharps there. Now you have at least 2 hours to do this. See how I left out the sharps there? I could have left out my sharp there too. If that happens, you cannot get the full marks, okay? Because you need to have key signatures in both staves. Okay, now we've got, and also if I put a stem there, now that's turned into a minim. I need minims down here as well. So the rhythm value must be vertical, and they're vertically identical. Okay, so if I'm going to put a stem there, and that's going to be another minim. Now they're testing your ability to subdivide. So that's 2 beats. I need 3 and 4, beats 3 and 4, and I cannot have minims. If I had another minim like that, that would be 2 beats. That's another 2 beats. So in all together, that's another 2 beats in length. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going to have 6 beats, and I cannot. I need just 4 beats per bar, 4 crotchet beats. Therefore, these have to turn into, they have to be 1 beat in length. So they have to turn into what we call crotchets. Okay? So NCEA is trying to look past what you can memorize. They're trying to use, to see how you can manage rhythm, whether you've got that concept. It's not just by memory. So I think understanding the question is the most important part. So notice how I highlight stuff. Now, if you don't have a highlighter, at least underline them. Okay? So there were at least 3 parts. Transcribe the chords below so they could be played on the keyboard. Notate root position. Try. So if you don't know what a root position, try it. You're not going to be able to do this. You need to know what a treble staff is and what a bass staff is, and how many notes go into one, and also the rhythm values there. Okay, so in a nutshell, this question is quite straightforward once you get what they're asking. Okay, and in the mock exam, you will get something similar to this as well. But not sure about what you're going to get at the end of the year, but yeah, well, there you go. That's one example of transcription, but we'll have a look at more examples of other types of transcription.